Hello, everybody. Welcome back to a Boss Rush Extra, something new we're trying here for the Boss Rush podcast. I am your host, Corey Dierig, and alongside me tonight on this extra podcast, I've brought in the big guns to talk about the Xbox and Bethesda Showcase. The one, the only, the man, the myth, the legend, the vault dwelling, the... I can't do all this. Look,
Nope.
You love him. You know him. Josh Finney.
I mean, listen, when we started saying that this was going to be an extra, there was only one guy you could call for Xbox.
I know. Look, Josh, it's we've been looking forward to this day for a long time. And
Yeah. A day that is as American as the 4th of July, you could say.
It is. Yes. America.
Phil Spencer and Todd Howard in leather jackets is as American as apple pie. That's as good as it gets, folks.
It's true. You had those leather jackets, man. I gotta tell you, Phil Spencer looks weird not in a black leather jacket, though. I gotta tell you, I can appreciate the color palette of his attire, but it just threw me off, man.
You just knew it was all business, though. Once Todd showed up in the brown leather, that's it. Yeah. Like, he meant business.
Yeah, man. It was interesting. Although I got to give it up to Sarah Bond. Her dress was on point today.
Okay, yeah, because I was watching this with our friend Ray, and him, and our friend Aaron were all like, "Damn!" Like, her dress actually looks like. We took a second to pause talking about games. We're like, "Man, Sarah's dress looks really good."
Yeah, I was like, I was like, man, if I was a dress wearing human, I would probably wear that. That's all I gotta say. I like Sarah Bond, by the way.
I do too. I think Sarah's one of the better people over at Xbox.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Let's see, who else did we see today? We saw
good old Uncle Pete.
Yeah,
Uncle
Pete Hines. Pete Hines. Very Phil Spencer in the way that he was dressed today as well. So, you know.
Yeah, we saw him. We saw the two of the head people from Turn 10 and the studio director of Interior Night.
Yeah. That presentation was pretty good too.
Yeah, I liked what I saw at Tribeca from that game the other day.
Yeah.
So
before we kind of dive into all this, we are trying something new for Boss Rush to talk about, major events. It's called the Boss Rush Extra. We're just going to do a little extra pod for you guys to talk about the big things that are happening in the industry. Obviously, there's no E3 this year, but, Summer Game Fest has happened. Xbox Showcase happened. There's going to be more stuff coming up. And I just feel like I don't get to talk about a lot of this stuff, because obviously that's not what the Boss Rush podcast is set up to do. But just to get a little bit of a discussion in, this is going to be something that we do periodically. So, Josh, thanks for joining me tonight. Appreciate you. I know you
always
had a big day with a friend of show Ray Apollo today as well.
We didn't stream it today. Traditionally we do. We just hung out. We bummed it today. Popped a couple beers when the show started, and just kind of went from there. It was pretty good. It was a good time.
That's what you do. You know what I was doing.
I got more hype as the show went on, I felt. Yeah,
I felt like the show started pretty strong, and like the middle was kind of like, it was kind of...
The middle was rough.
Yeah, it was fluffy.
I don't even know if the middle was rough. I think like around like minute 25 or 30, I audibly said, "Oh no," when they just kept talking about the technicalities of Forza.
Yeah.
And I was like, we were literally yelling at the TV going, what is the extended showcase for if you're not going to talk about this there? People watching this, like, we care because we're tech nerds, but the majority of people watching don't give they don't give a crap.
Nope.
They don't give a crap. I'm gonna try to stay my language tonight. They don't give a crap. It's just one of those things, and you're just looking at it like, okay, this is cool. I'm not gonna notice this while I'm driving though.
Yeah. It's a pretty looking game though.
It's a very pretty looking game. People broke it down afterwards that it felt like it had more gameplay this year overall largely due to Starfield and Forza.
Mm-hmm.
But that if you compare it to last year, it was almost, in terms of like gameplay, it was almost comparable.
Mm-hmm.
Just like everything had gameplay this year instead of a few like major third parties like Stalker.
Yeah.
But like in terms of exclusives, it was comparable. In
Mm-hmm.
terms of indies, comparable. Third parties, comparable.
Mm-hmm.
So like I guess Corey, question to you, like just gut reaction, like I guess before we start dividing up the show, on a scale of A to F, where does this fall for you?
I mean, I would say it was like a B. It was good, not
Yeah.
great. I mean, I
Oh.
I enjoyed it. Like there's a lot of
Mhm.
stuff in there that's very intriguing and interesting. Obviously,
Yeah.
opening with Redfall and ending with Starfield. Those
It was a
are
flip flop of last year.
yeah. So I mean that was a huge thing. There's a couple things I was kind of disappointed we didn't see. Like what the coalition might be working on, or no
I think
Hellblade
Avowed
either.
not being there is like far and away the biggest disappointment that I was seeing like on the internet, and like for
Mm-hmm.
me personally too.
Mm-hmm.
That was one that I think a lot of us had really built up expecting to be there.
Mm-hmm.
Just everything that we know about that game, but once Phil started talking about in the pre-show, he was talking about this is going to focus on things you'll see over the next 12 months. I went, okay, we're probably not seeing Avowed.
Yeah.
That game still feels like a 2023 title to me, but it feels like that and Hellblade are going to be their 1-2 punch next holiday.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
They want, I'll put it this way, they want for Obsidian's sake to give it as much space between Starfield and Avowed as possible.
Yeah.
And I think that the Starfield delay probably bought Obsidian another like 4 to 5 months.
Mm-hmm.
In all honesty, and from everything I've heard, the game needs it. It needs it. Apparently, they underwent a director change last spring, and the game has been rebooted in development once. Josh Sawyer was offered to take over it and said no, and went and did Pentiment instead.
Mm-hmm. Huh. Yeah, that game. Oh boy.
And then what was it? The only other thing that I was like really surprised we didn't see was Contraband.
Yeah, Contraband, because that was rumored to be like their game this year because everything else got pushed, right? I mean,
from everything I've been able to figure out, that was planned internally for this year when they revealed it last year. And I mean, COVID and staffing and things like that, outbreaks in different parts of the world at different times. It had to get pushed to next year. I strongly suspect that'll be a summer game next year.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised to see that at Gamescom. Jez Corden over at Windows Central, he was saying a few weeks ago that he felt that several games were going to be held back for Gamescom or for a fall showcase of some kind, like kind of like Sony's done before. Like, hey, here's our thing for like the next 12 months.
Especially if they're planning on bringing EXO back this year, right?
Yeah, my hope would be that they bring EXO back. I just think that's better than Gamescom for doing a show. Like, if you want to announce some things and like highlight some third-party partners at Gamescom.
Yeah.
Plus they have
a lot of European studios. Like they could have saved the Sea of Thieves stuff, right, for Gamescom. Although that's coming out soon, I guess. So that wouldn't make sense.
I mean, that's coming out soon. That is a major update of things that people have been asking for. Source, my girlfriend plays a ton of Sea of Thieves. She's been begging for this.
Yeah.
I was even talking with Ray before and after, and I says, I feel like QuakeCon, because id Software is heavily rumored to be making a Quake reboot in the vein of Doom 2016.
Mm-hmm.
Something like that would probably be revealed at QuakeCon, which is really turning into BethesdaCon in general.
Right.
So there's so many different event teams that they have now that there's so much you can do. We know they have a very strong relationship with Jeff Keighley.
Right.
So what gets shown at that is that where the Fable reveal happens or something. If they're showing something that's going to be like a year and a half, 2 years out, or do we get a release date for Hellblade 2 there? Like, I don't know. Like, that's just kind of me talking out of my butt. I'm kind of on the same boat as you though for grading this. I think I'm definitely being more generous and saying that, like, for me personally, this was probably a B+, borderline A-. I think the thing that would definitely propel it into A territory would have been one more AAA title.
Mm-hmm.
But in the context of what Phil was saying, I'm taking that into account here.
Mm-hmm.
and saying, okay, well, realistically, what else were they going to get? I know there was that rumor going around for a few weeks that, oh, Avowed is really going to be ready in fall 2022. No,
No.
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 Even when Avowed was first teased at the 2020 showcase, a lot of people were like, oh, that's like a 2023 game. There's no way that's coming out beforehand. Now I think they're worried about putting that Fable and Elder Scrolls out all back to back, like a medieval RPG every year. That's going to get stale.
Yeah.
So
yeah,
I would say B+, very fringe A-. Like I could talk myself into giving this an A-, and a B+ is not bad. I want to be really clear. Like when I say B+, this is like an 88, 89 for me.
Right. I mean, for me, to be honest, and I know that it varies for people, and I know that Sony had a great state of play or whatever, but I feel like for the games that I like to play and am interested in, this was better for me than the Sony state of play recently.
I like a lot of indies. This catered to my interests. Indies and smaller games. I want smaller games. Like I'm fine with a massive game, like a couple of them a year, but if every game is 100 hours, I'm not going to have time to play anything that I enjoy.
Right. I was really happy to see Atlas. I was really surprised we didn't see. I was really surprised we didn't see Final Fantasy VII.
So this is probably me just like snorting a copium right now, but
snort it up, Josh.
There is a Final Fantasy VII event happening this week that is only like 15 minutes long, and I suspect that it could be saved for that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I kind of agree. Like it makes almost no sense why I wouldn't reveal this here unless somebody may need to do like a date check on us of when Intergrade came out last year.
It
was we could be like bordering.
I'll check it. Keep going. Sorry.
We could be bordering on that. And I think something else important to remember is, we talk about the lineup, and they gave us that awesome graphic at the end that showed us everything that's coming out. If you go row by row, you can at least in 2022, it almost goes in like date order. Based on where the major games are spaced out, you can kind of tell where things are aiming for. And it's important to remember that between now and next summer, you will also get Deathloop and Ghostwire Tokyo to Xbox. They cannot legally talk about those because of the marketing deals.
May 28th is when Intergrade came out last
May 28th. Okay, yeah, you may be too close on that. Maybe Sony was just like, no, fuck y'all. You can, sorry. Maybe they were like, no, screw you guys. You can only talk about Persona here. You can only take one beloved franchise.
Yeah.
Because, man, that Atlas deal, Persona 3 Portable, Persona 4 Golden, and 5 Royale.
All the best versions of those games, by the way.
Yeah, all the best versions of those games. Those versions of 3 and 4, though, have not released on home PlayStation consoles.
Yeah.
So there are some very angry people tonight.
Yeah, especially 3, because I know 3 has been rumored to be getting some sort of major port for a while to consoles. And that's stuck on PSP, right?
And Nintendo fans understandably are very upset.
Well,
I totally get that.
Look, if these games are coming to Xbox, they're going to make their way to Switch. I bet.
They will. I think Microsoft is. I genuinely do think because when you go to the Atlas website, there is nothing about these coming to Switch. There's nothing about even 3 and 4 coming to PlayStation.
Yeah, but don't you think
currently it is a given that these?
I was just going to say, don't you think Nintendo wants to make that announcement at a direct?
I was actually going to go a different direction with that. I think Nintendo wants to make that announcement, but I would almost guarantee you that Phil paid an absurd amount of money to get timed exclusivity on those games. That's a big get for them. They're trying to grow in Asia right now,
especially like that
3 portable Persona games. We saw what Yakuza did on Game Pass. You got these. You got Slime Rancher, Eiyuden Chronicles coming. If Final Fantasy VII can ever come out,
right?
Those are some pretty strong games.
Yeah. And, I mean, the Xbox just outsold the PlayStation for the first time in, 8 or 9 years in a month, right? Like, I mean...
Yeah. I mean, the cloud initiatives we heard about this week, with it being baked into smart TVs now, and, that they're promising that by the end of the year, if you have Game Pass Ultimate, any games you buy digitally, you will be able to play via the cloud. Those are going to be big for growing their business overseas.
Right.
So I'm excited to see. At the very least, I think this means that Persona 6 will only be a timed exclusive to PlayStation, like maybe for a year or two, and then it comes to Xbox instead of like, well, we've waited 5 years and we're finally getting Persona 5.
Right. Yeah.
Um,
At least we're getting the royal version though, because like that.
Yeah, you're getting the best versions of the games.
Mm-hmm.
Not just here, but on PC also. That's the other big one.
Right. Yeah.
So, do we want just like before we get like too speculative here and like we get too off track, do we want to jump into the first party?
Yeah, let's talk about the first party stuff that they showed off. They kicked off the show with Redfall. This game has a lot more horror elements than I expected, I think.
Yeah, we saw all the blood. We're like, oh my god, we thought this was going to be like kind of like a jokey, almost light-hearted game based on the CG trailer from last year.
I was expecting like hey, this is like The Division with vampires.
Yeah.
Was what I thought.
So it's funny that you say The Division because in our chat, Ray goes, all this game has to do is be better than the Division, which is not that hard to do.
Yeah.
We are both like creating a summoning circle, hoping that this is like a January or February release.
Yeah.
Since they kept saying early 2023.
Right.
There's some polish that needs to happen with this game, though. The aiming, like in particular, and the movement looked kind of janky at times.
Right.
Not even at times. Like it straight up looked bad.
Yeah. I think they. I don't know, man. First of all, if the character you're playing as says "oh shit" one more time, dude, that's all they said in that opening 5 minutes. Is like, "oh shit, what was that? Oh shit."
I mean, hey, listen, true to life, that's what I'd be like. Okay, like no front.
Yeah.
So.
Well, yeah, but like, you can mix it up. It's a video game, right?
The abilities got me pretty excited. I liked seeing a lot of those. The void-looking shield reminded me of Titans and Destiny.
Yeah.
But I mean, I don't know. Redfall was never something I was super hyped for. All I will say is I'm very glad this is coming to Game Pass because I have an aversion to paying for games like this and Back 4 Blood that really live and die on getting it the same day as your friends. So I look forward to playing this with my friends. I will play this. I'll play this through.
Yeah.
I'm excited. I'll play it. It's part of my Game Pass sub. It didn't light my world on fire, but there's a lot worse things you could open with, I think.
Yeah. Anyways, I think that this is going to be one of those games that secret, like in the background does really well and just nobody talks about it. Like, Ghost Recon Wildlands did. Right.
This is going to be the game that comes out. And that's why I kept speculating like, man, I think this gets the full year delay. And I think this secretly comes out like end of May next year, and hey, here's a summer game for you guys. Like this or Contraband was taking that coveted early June slot, and this is the game you're going to play with your buddies for 6 weeks and then never talk about it again.
Yeah.
Like I don't want this to turn into we're going to support this for years with DLC packs. Like no, please feel free not to. Please feel free to go back to make Prey 2, make a new original IP. Please feel free to make anything but more Redfall. It's okay.
Right. Yeah.
This one is I'm very excited. They have to do a public beta for this game.
Oh yeah.
But this looks like Borderlands and Back 4 Blood had a child.
Right. Yeah. It's going to be really interesting to see how this game. Obviously it takes place. Not obviously, but it takes place on an island outside of Massachusetts, trapped on an island with vampires, a cult who wants to be vampires, and then other people. So, yeah.
And other people.
Yeah. That's what I wrote down here.
Yeah. Do we have any other thoughts on?
No,
on
I mean, I think I'll try it out. Like, I think it's interesting.
Yeah.
I'll
play it.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of my Game Pass. I'll play it. So
this. I'll be honest. This admittedly looked better than I planned on it looking.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah.
Next first party game they showed off was Forza Motorsport.
This looks stupid good.
It looks incredible. We thought Forza Horizon looked great last year. Holy cow, this game looks amazing.
This is Turn 10's games are always the visual showcases for the console. I mean, 2 years ago when we saw the teaser trailer in 2020 and I was running an engine, we were like, oh my god, this looks amazing. This is a step up from that. The direct feed screenshots they've released that like Turn 10 actually put out tonight, I think Destin Legare just retweeted them. Mind blown. Absolutely mind blown at how good this looks. I'm not a Forza Motorsport guy because I much prefer an arcadey racer like Horizon, but this looks good. I just wish they hadn't spent like 7 minutes talking about it.
Yeah.
What is your extended showcase for if you're not going to go talk about all the shadows and the ray tracing and stuff? Go talk about that there.
Maybe they'll
talk about that there, please.
Maybe they're going to take us deeper into one of the churches in Redfall. Maybe that's what the 90-minute showcase on Tuesday is for.
I mean, I'd be okay with that. I'd be totally okay with seeing a mission play out in Redfall. That would probably fix a lot of my concerns about that game.
Yeah.
But like Forza, like okay, it's Forza. Like okay, cool. Mm-hmm. Just reassure me you're not going to do microtransactions like GT7 does them.
Yeah.
Boom. The end.
Yeah.
And it's freshly delayed to 2023, so there is no major game for this fall now.
I am shocked that this game is not coming out this fall. Shocked.
I'm not. And again, like we talked earlier about how like, or I guess I didn't talk with you. I was talking with some friends about how like I think the success and the delay of certain titles buys time for other teams. Mm-hmm. This is one of those cases where I think if Horizon 5 had performed similar to Horizon 4, they probably would have been like, okay, let's go ahead and get this out there. Horizon 5 just crossed 20 million players.
Right.
3 weeks ago. Mm-hmm. They are like, okay, yeah, we're cool. We're cool. And you need another quarter? Sure. 2023 is starting to pile up, though, especially in Q1 and Q2.
Yeah, it's going to be
Oh, it's going to be a literal bloodbath.
Yeah, so I mean, this game looks cool. I mean, it looks amazing. Real-time ray tracing showed off, right? Like overhauled driving experience. They showed the kind of day-night cycle. No weather effects. They didn't show any weather effects, though, which is kind of different for them.
Yeah, I think because like Playground has just nailed that so good at this point that why drive that home? We've heard you talk about it like 3 Forza showcases in a row.
Right. Yeah.
So
that's fair. But yeah, I mean, I agree with you. I don't really have much else to say about it. It does look incredible. Like it's definitely going to be the showcase for this Xbox Series X, so
I'm personally much more excited for Forza Horizon 5 Hot Wheels.
Oh, I know. Do you just want to hop into that now then?
Yeah, just keep all the Forza together.
Yeah, dude, the Hot Wheels stuff from 3 was amazing. Because last year was the Lego stuff, but
I like the Lego stuff, but the Hot Wheels stuff is just so wacky. I'm glad they went with a fun DLC instead of like Blizzard Mountain first. I think that's just because like they've put all the biomes and seasons into the game now, so those are way less appealing. If I had to guess, like I think they're probably going to do 2 fun DLCs. I've joked that I thought that Fast and the Furious would be one that they would do this year, and well, if the second DLC comes out like this fall or early next year, I could see that being the beginning of Fast and Furious 10's marketing. So
yeah, I was going to say, I
bet
they
did
line
it
that
before
up
with number 2.
Yeah, I was going to say, I bet they line that up with the marketing for that movie.
Yeah.
So
that's what I would do. I mean, and that gives you an excuse to do like a city extension too, which has long been asked for. Like this is kind of being seen as like the testing ground for like the true full next gen Forza Horizon, which every year is rumored to be Japan.
Gosh, dude, that'd be so cool. If that's the first next gen and you're driving through like Tokyo or something with all the ray tracing and all the crazy colored lights and everything. Oh my gosh, dude, that'd be so
Let
amazing.
me drift through Shibuya.
Yeah.
Let me drift through there.
Yeah.
And you have to put the Tokyo Drift song in there if you do that. I'm just saying.
Yeah. Yeah.
But yeah, cool. I bought the expansion pass last year. I'll play this. Next.
Can we unlock DK's drift car? From Tokyo.
You mean like Donkey Kong?
Gosh, dude. Side tangent. First time I saw that movie and I heard that line, I rolled my eyes so hard that I got a headache.
Never forget that they brought back the actor who plays Sean from Tokyo Drift to Furious 7, and that man was clearly 40 playing a 17-year-old.
Yep.
and he looked it too.
Mm-hmm.
His hairline was very bad.
I'm aware. I'm, all right, let's move on to some other vehicles here, Josh.
Move on.
Flight Sim is getting the 40th
Cool.
anniversary edition.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
Yeah. Old planes, helicopters.
The Pelican mission is what got me excited. I'll play it for that.
It's available now.
I'll do
right?
130 gig download just to play as a Pelican for 10 minutes.
Right. I'll have to delete every game off my Series S just to play this, but it's fine.
Oh my god. And it's going to sound like it's chugging.
I know. It's all right, though. So, question. Are we including Blizzard in the first party stuff yet or not?
Nope.
Okay.
Nope, deal hasn't closed yet.
Yep. Okay. So, the new Minecraft game, Minecraft Legends, was also shown off.
I like the little bit of gameplay we saw from this, but I need to see more.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me a little bit of like Pikmin, a little bit.
So that's exactly what Ray said. Ray was like, "Dude, it's Minecraft Pikmin."
Yeah.
Again, it's Game Pass, just like Dungeons. I will play it. This is coming to everything under the sun. The trailer officially confirmed it after the show.
Right.
It's coming to PlayStation. It's coming to Switch.
Right.
Cool. It's Minecraft. They're gonna take all the free money they can get.
Right. Yeah.
I think this is actually a really creative expansion of that IP. But we are starting to approach a point where we have milked Minecraft for all it's worth.
Yeah. Did you play Dungeons?
I did. It came out in the early days of the pandemic. I enjoyed what I played, but I have a really hard time getting into dungeon crawlers that are not Diablo.
Yeah.
And even then, I never got truly hooked on Diablo.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I played a little bit of it too. It was fine. Like, it was cool. It was interesting, but like, there's other things I would have rather been playing. But it was a interesting take on Minecraft.
When they said from the creators of Minecraft, that made me very excited for a split second that they were going to show Banjo-Kazooie.
Oh, I know. Wouldn't that have been cool?
That would have been cool. I think that, and I don't want to talk down about Mojang here, because I do think Mojang has been just like a powerhouse studio, but I think they're afraid to do anything that's not with they're either afraid to do something without the Minecraft IP, or they're not allowed to. We'd heard about the frustration that all they worked on was Minecraft. And you have to wonder if, like, partnering with an outside studio on Dungeons and now on Legends, is that, like, kind of, is that stoking those fears? Is it kind of, like, reassuring them, like, hey, you're doing stuff in this universe, but they're totally different games? We know they have two Minecraft-related games in development. This is one of them. The rumor was an RTS, which I think that this was probably meant to be the RTS, frankly.
Yeah.
I don't know how I feel about knowing that yet another Minecraft game is on the way.
Yeah.
But hey, you know what? Whatever. Like, I will play this if this is what gets kids into action games. Cool. I need to see more gameplay, and I really hope this is one of the ones highlighted on Tuesday.
Yeah.
It's included with Game Pass. Yay!
Yeah. So
they need more family-friendly games. So this is a win.
Yeah, they need. I mean, especially after looking at what was shown off today, they need something family-friendly because.
Yeah.
So Xbox publishing this game, not necessarily a first-party game, but as Dusk Falls was shown off, I know you're really excited for this, Josh.
Yeah, I love branching path games. I like visual novels. This. It kind of looks like it's almost told through like paintings and sketches, which I think is a unique device to tell through.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interior Night.
I love game.
Interior Night, by the way, is the studio that's developing it. They are a small team who splintered off from the
Quantic Dream.
What? Quantic Dream. Yeah.
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 Yeah. The studio head was the former narrative director over there, actually.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm excited for this. If nothing else, like I know the storytelling possibility. Well, I hope that it's good storytelling and that David Cage isn't like secretly making it like super sexist or something. The biggest news for me was that this is going to be included like up to 8 players. I have to wonder if it's going to have like some sort of like audience choice function, and that's why it's saying that.
Yeah. Because I remember they touted that Supermassive's game, The Quarry or whatever, right? That has multiplayer in it, but that's also like a choice based thing, I think, right? So
Yeah, it's they did it with Until Dawn also, I believe.
yeah.
A choice based mechanic. I think expanding that to a smaller scale title is a great idea.
Hmm.
Um, hey, Telltale, take note for Wolf Among Us 2.
Right.
For streamers, for people who want to play this couch co-op. Like Chelsea, when I told her about this, she was really excited. This is kind of the perfect thing for me. Like this is a good palate cleanser. In a more packed year, I think this would be more appreciated.
Yeah.
As a clearly an in between, like an appetizer to the main course, so to speak. That's how I usually refer to the indies on Game Pass. I've been excited for this for 2 years though. Watched it, Tribeca. Dang near spent $5 to get an hour demo of it just so I could try it out. But the previews of it have me assured that if nothing else, I get to play it in a month for myself. It's on Game Pass. These are the kind of publishing deals I want to see Microsoft do, though. Like you and I talked a couple years ago about, well, what's the next move after Bethesda logically, and I've been championing they need to get somebody like Don't Nod in house, or at least make long-term deals.
Right.
Interior Night, this project was originally funded and going to be published by Sega several years ago, and Sega threw it out.
Right.
Sega was like, no, we're not doing that. And Microsoft, like 2-3 months before the showcase in 2020, says, hey, we'll fund it.
Yeah. I think like, I know we Tell Me Why was like the big one that they published, the episodic thing. Like Game Pass is built for an episodic experience, and
yes,
I think the big complaint with episodic games is like, oh well, it takes 2 or 3 months to get the next episode out or whatever. My thing is like finish the game, and then put each episode out weekly, and I think that will hook people.
That's what Tell Me Why did. It was only 3 episodes long. It probably could have benefited from a 4th, in all honesty. It felt really rushed at the end, but you had that for 3 weeks there, and I remember looking forward to it.
Yeah.
I was in the middle of packing up my apartment to move, actually. And I'm almost wondering if As Dusk Falls is going to be an episodic release also, because I feel like in the back of my mind I'd heard about that. But this, I've been championing that, if you could even get an agreement with them and with Don't Nod, and like every other year, one of them releases a game for like three or 4 years. Those are great. Like those are little palate cleansers to specifically aim for summer when it's a little bit slower, I think.
Right. Yeah.
I would be completely okay with that, but I understand why that's not everyone's jam. But with with cloud gaming coming, with it being baked into TVs now, I think games like this could see a very strong resurgence in popularity.
Right. Yeah.
So I would not be shocked if after the Activision Blizzard deal closes, we hear about Microsoft making an offer to Interior Night. Yeah. If this game goes over well.
Yeah.
I would not be surprised at all.
And I think it will. I think this game will go over pretty well.
I hope so. I hope so. Very, very big fan of that team. So
yeah.
2 thumbs up from Josh.
I'm looking forward to trying it out.
What's next, Corey?
The next game, Obsidian showed 2 games. Pentiment was a small scale kind of.
Yes,
dude. The game that
I'm so excited for this.
Why are you excited for this?
So I want to give some background why I'm excited. So Josh Sawyer is the guy directing this. If that name sounds semi-familiar to you, or maybe doesn't, he is the guy who was one of the lead writers, and he was the director on, I believe, both Pillars of Eternity games, as well as Fallout New Vegas. He's been with Obsidian since its founding days, since Knights of the Republic 2. He was one of the original guys that was brought into the studio and really worked his way up. I am very excited on that basis alone, because the Pillars games are 2 of my favorite RPGs ever in terms of writing and character development.
Yeah, you you always said that.
Yeah, I've been championing these games for forever, and that's why I'm so excited for Avowed. But like, I know what he's capable of doing, even with a small team. This is a game made by less than 10 people. Really, he's described it as like a labor of love. Rebecca Valentine had a really good interview with him over at IGN earlier today, and talking about this and how the reports that this was going to be a Disco Elysium style game feel inaccurate in his opinion. It is non-combat, but it's based in the Middle Ages and like almost early Renaissance in a lot of ways. But will feature a lot of like real world history. Like basically his attitude was you're gonna learn something while you're playing this game. So I am excited for this. I totally understand why so many people are like, what the hell is this?
Mm-hmm.
I am excited on that purely because I know the quality of game that he puts out.
Right.
So, and him being allowed to helm and write his own little game just like off to the side when he's the studio design director is a pretty big move. Like, I suspect the next major game after Outer Worlds 2 on the docket, he will probably be the director of. But for right now, I'm okay with this being a thing. This is the game I'm getting this fall from Xbox. I'm here for it. This will not appeal to the vast majority of people, but I think it will take on the status of being a cult classic. Like, much like the Pillars of Eternity games. Those games, he was very distraught over number 2 not performing well sales-wise. It got great reviews, great word of mouth, did not sell. They had a really hard time funding it, and he famously said, I will never touch Pillars of Eternity again. That's why he did not want to direct Avowed, from everything I've heard.
Yeah, I remember hearing something about that, like 6 months ago, or maybe it was like right around when Avowed was
I want to
off.
say it was like last spring or something.
Yeah.
Was that when they originally decided to do Avowed as a studio, he was like, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do another Pillars game. I can't handle seeing another one basically not sell.
Yeah.
People clearly don't want it. But I think Game Pass, that's how I played them. I think Game Pass kind of helped with a resurgence on those. So,
yeah.
Who knows? Never say never. I would love it if his next game was a true Pillars 3.
Yeah.
Love it.
I mean, I think those games were made before they were acquired anyway, right? So I think if they did want to do another Pillars with Game Pass and some marketing behind it, I think it would do better than the first two, to be honest with you. I think a third one would do pretty well for them. But
yeah. So I like this. If God of War comes out in November, this game is 100% going to get lost in the shuffle.
Yeah.
So
I'm trying to find the game that this game reminded me of, and I thought it was a sequel to. It was that dumb game that Stoy always talked about, and I can't remember what it's called. And it was on Game Pass, but I can't find it, so maybe it's not on Game Pass anymore.
I don't remember.
Yeah, I don't. The next game Obsidian showed off was the 1.0 release of Grounded.
Cool.
Great. I didn't care for what I played, to be honest.
I'm excited to go play a full release of this game. I haven't tried it. I haven't played it in about a year and a half.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to jump back in and see what's changed. At the very least. The game's already been profitable in early access, so...
I think the last time I played it was when it came out, the early access releed. So
yeah,
a lot has changed.
A lot is definitely. I will say a lot has changed since then, even from what I played. I'll check this out. This will not be a regular in my staple.
Yeah,
my gaming staple. I just okay, cool.
Mm-hmm.
I understand why some people really like it. Mm-hmm. I don't, and that's all there is to it.
Yep.
Moving on.
Another game getting an update, Josh, is Season 7 of Sea of Thieves, the big be a captain of your own ship.
Yeah, kind of wild that some of this stuff didn't exist already. Yeah, I was like, oh, this feels like it was kind of common sense, but it's been asked for a long time. I don't know if there's anything else to say. Cool. It's crossed 30 million players worldwide.
Mm-hmm. A game that quietly just continues to grow, that game.
Yeah, it is. It's quietly become one of Game Pass's biggest games, and just a perpetual money fountain for Microsoft, it seems.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
2 more first-party items to talk about. The new experience coming to Xbox from Hideo Kojima has finally been sort of revealed.
Yeah. God, after a wild week of leaks, Tom Henderson, who's gained some notoriety, especially this week in the community. He's kind of flying under the radar there for a while. A lot of his leaks were pertaining to first-person shooters, and then this year it just kind of like blew wide up. Kind of like Jeff Grubb. He was like really an Xbox guy there for like a year or so, and then just like blew onto the scene with like everything.
Yeah.
Tom published a report about Kojima's next game, which is codenamed Overdose, that was seen running on phones and this and that, and like it's running in the cloud. There's no hardware. It's like supposed to be a prototype of the game he's making with Xbox. To the point where Kojima Productions flat out sent him a letter asking him to take the article down, and he replied with no.
I saw that.
He was like, no.
Yeah.
They inadvertently confirmed it. And when Kojima didn't show up at Summer Game Fest, I think this was like the safest assumption for anyone who follows the industry. Like, oh, he's totally at Xbox.
Yeah.
He's totally showing up. Jeff Grubb is vindicated as far as I'm concerned. He reported on this like a year and some change ago.
Yeah.
I'm very curious to see what happens here. We have no... I did not read the report about Overdose. I have no interest in reading about it. I want to try and play this as fresh as possible, not form any stupid opinions years in advance.
Right.
This is a win. The three things they did at the very end, which was the Atlas announcement, the Kojima announcement, and the Starfield demo. Just... bam, 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 bam.
Which we can talk about now.
Across the board.
The Starfield demo we can talk about now. It was pretty extensive. It was what, like 15 minutes they showed of Starfield?
15 minutes on the dot. Yeah. 15 minutes on the dot from the beginning of the segment until the end.
Yeah.
This has everything I could have ever dreamed of and more. I didn't think we were going to get base building and recruit your own crew, build your own ship.
Yeah.
1,000 planets. I saw some people saying, and I'm not going to name names because I don't want to be an ass, saying that, why do we need this game? This looks... No Man's Sky already did all this stuff. I'm sorry. This looks a million times more appealing than No Man's Sky ever did.
Plus, didn't they say none of it was really procedurally generated? Like,
I don't believe that for a second. Some of those planets have got to be procedurally generated. They said 1,000 planets, man. There is no way there's going to be stuff to do on 1,000 planets. I think it's really going to be like maybe 2 or 3 dozen of them will have like... I think you'll have like 6 of them that are like really built up in your core areas. You'll have maybe another 2 dozen that have like outposts or like smuggling coves on them or something. Maybe like some wacky cult. And then all the rest are just going to be like mineral farms.
Right. Yeah.
And that's fine by me, like a la Mass Effect in a lot of ways. The OG Mass Effect.
Right.
But I'm fine with this. There is so much here. Like, when the game got delayed, there was a report that came out a couple days after. It was a rumor that didn't really gain a lot of traction. But it was kind of indicating that one of the major reasons the game was getting delayed was because of the flying mechanics. That they are still trying to perfect them. And Todd has said that they are in polishing right now. That's leaving them 8 or 9 months for polishing. I think they know this has to be as bug free as possible.
What were the last 2?
Microsoft spent $7.5 billion to make sure this was an exclusive. Let's put it that way.
Yeah, but let's see. The reception of Fallout 4 was not as high as I think they wanted it to be.
Fallout 4 was fine. It developed a reputation like a year or 2 later. Oh, it's not that good. Like, okay, yeah. Okay, sit down, little Timmy.
Yeah.
76 is really what did them in.
Yeah, I was getting there. I think the reception of Fallout 76 is what really made them kind of, oh, man, this is really a dent in our armor. We need to, like, really nail this. I didn't play either one, so I don't really know. I can't really tell you, but I think Starfield looks interesting. I have always wanted to get into a Bethesda style game, and I just haven't, But Starfield definitely is more appealing, I would say, in terms of especially compared to something like Skyrim or something. I'm just not the fantasy guy, Fallout was definitely more appealing than Elder Scrolls for me. And this kind of seems like it's taking space travel to that, but 1,000 times more intriguing with the mining and the base building and everything we already kind of just talked about.
Fighting. I'm very excited for this. New Atlantis. It was funny. We looked at that and we saw that Aaron and Ray were both like, oh my god, like, hey, it's the Mass Effect Citadel. I was like, yeah, it was the Citadel if it was an appealing place to visit.
Yeah.
Listen, I like the Citadel in Mass Effect, but in all 3 games, it is just so rough.
To be fair, that's an Xbox 360 game.
I get it, but I have nothing else to put it up against. Even the space station on Andromeda sucked. Well, so I have nothing else to really compare this to.
No,
I'm happy.
Yeah, I'm interested to, especially like because you said you could recruit your own party and
Yeah, you can recruit your own crew for not only your base but for your ship also.
yeah, and the fact that you can build your own ship. And like, not that it's the same way, but like it really really looked like the way you put together your carts and nuts and bolt Banjo Kazooie nuts and bolts. The way they were just kind of shifting
Oh my
parts
god.
around.
Don't tell people that. Oh Jesus.
Starfield nuts and bolts, everybody. Here's your Banjo Kazooie reboot you wanted. Your character just takes his helmet off. It's just Banjo travel.
I wouldn't even be mad. I'd be so happy. I'd have the dumbest smile on my face.
Oh man.
I love this. Giving me a 15-minute Starfield demo may not have been my ideal way to close this out, but that 15 minutes, in my opinion, just flew by.
Yeah. I looked up, I was like, oh, that was 15 minutes?
That did not feel like it was like 15% of the show's run.
Yeah. Some of the stuff coming out, some people saying it looks like it's having some frame rate or technical issues. Are you concerned at all about that?
I mean, it looks like a Bethesda game. Like, let me tell you something. A Bethesda game is going to have performance issues. They have a lot of time to get this right.
Yeah.
To do nothing polished to fix the frame rate. There are no more excuses. Our friend Nerd Generalist was texting me just about an hour before we got on here. And he says, I would be fine with them if they delayed it again, if it just means that it runs absolutely perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like, this looks like the game that, me and him have talked about for years as wanting.
Yeah.
This is, again, beyond anything I dreamed that they would try to do. I thought, like, when they said, oh, every planet is explorable and you can land anywhere on the planet, and they zoomed out to show the sector, I was like, oh my god, that's so cool. And then they zoomed out to show every sector, and I lost my mind.
Yeah.
That is one of the most wild things, and I really hope this is not a case of CD Projekt Red with Cyberpunk, where you are just like, you're getting people so hyped and they're going to be so disappointed. I think it's super important, to come out on Tuesday and be like, we want to be clear, not every single one of these planets is populated or will have quests associated with it. We want to be super clear about that.
Yeah.
I think you have a responsibility to, like, fan that fire right now.
Right.
Bring people down, because otherwise they're going to go nuts.
Yeah. I bet we'll see another kind of showcase for this game at some point, or at least those videos that they've been putting out on their YouTube channel.
I think you'll get more, probably, of like a character editor, maybe of like the opening cutscene in the first mission or something, like a full playthrough of the first mission.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how much more they'll show before launch, though.
Yeah.
It's pretty clear this demo was ready to go before the delay.
Yeah.
So, but anybody who's like, oh, that's like just as janky as when Halo Infinite was shown off, please sit down. Please sit down. Please stop talking. You've clearly never played a Bethesda game.
Oh.
The perk system and the leveling up looks so much more like Oblivion than it does like Skyrim or Fallout.
Right.
And that makes me very excited.
Yeah.
Like, they're kind of getting back to their roots in a lot of ways with this game, and man, I'm excited. I want to see more of the combat play out. This looked very basic, and I'm excited to see more combat eventually.
Yeah.
You have to figure that's probably going to be a focus of a video too.
Yeah.
Like showing off the crafting and things like that. Like, all that stuff's probably going to get shown at some point.
Yeah.
It's been 8 years since they properly revealed a game, though. So, hey, kudos. This was great.
Yeah, it's exciting to see this game kind of moving in action and not just cool, movable concept art.
Yeah, I mean, this has been a game that, we've been hearing about since it first got announced, like 2018.
Mm-hmm.
2018 or 2019 is when they gave us
4 years ago.
title of the game. 4 years ago. It got trademarked a couple years before that.
Mm-hmm.
I've been thinking about Starfield for the better part of a decade.
Yeah.
And just hoping that it would be good. And this looks like it's hitting every single item on my box. I gotta see a few more things, and I need to see a performance improvement, but I went back and rewatched that demo at the 4K 60 frames, and
yeah,
it looks really good.
Yeah.
I really like this.
Well, Josh, do we want to hit on some of the other big announcements
Yeah,
here, interesting ones.
let's sit on a couple of these partnerships.
I think
We already talked about Atlas.
Yeah, I think one of the biggest. Well, we didn't really though.
I mean, okay, but so Atlas.
Well, I guess we kind of did. Yeah.
Persona 3, 4, and 5, the definitive editions.
Yeah, you're right. We did. I'm sorry.
Yeah. If they announced like Persona 6, that would be different. My worst fear was this thing leaked last night that the Persona games were going to be there. And I didn't believe it because I've been told that several times in the past. Like, we heard it last year, like, oh, Persona 5 is coming to Xbox. We've heard it for years about the Switch. To the point where Best Buy even had it listed in their system with a SKU. And I was like, okay, whatever. And I was texting with a friend of mine who's a huge Persona fan, and he just came back and goes, man, what if it's Persona 3, 4, and 5, but it's just the dancing games? He's like, what would you do? And I was like, I don't even know. I wouldn't even be mad because that would be the greatest troll job of all time. And Microsoft would never be able to live that down.
I don't know. They put out the Star Wars dancing game, so
they still have not been forgiven for that, as far as I'm. I think the other big announcement of the show was at the beginning, though, the Riot partnership.
Yeah, that's the one I was going to bring up. I was like, Riot. So basically, what they did was they announced that League of Legends, Wild Rift, Valorant, Legends of Runeterra, and Teamfight Tactics are all coming to Game Pass, but all of the champions are unlocked, which is a huge deal, right? Because that's
a huge deal.
I think. I forget which game it was. I think it was Valorant, where to have all of the characters unlocked in Valorant cost something like $614 or something stupid like that.
Wild. That's wild.
And the fact that they're all kind of unlocked on Xbox is like wild. So
yeah, I really, really, really was taken by surprise on this. And I went back and rewatched the announcement later on. And whoever they had from Riot up there at the end said, this we've announced today is just the beginning of this partnership, which immediately sent Ray and I wondering. Because when they first showed it, we were like, oh my God, are they going to announce that the FPS and the fighting game that they have, are they going to announce one of those is coming day one to Game Pass?
Right.
Or like Microsoft has gotten like timed exclusivity or something. Like, it's kind of hard not to go down that road of thinking now. And then our thought was, oh my God, is Valorant coming to consoles? Like, that would be something to fill your gap this year.
Right.
Valorant on Xbox. And alas, it was not meant to be. But this, to me, this partnership is showing that they are dead serious about moving into more than just consoles.
Right.
They are clearly trying to get stuff to target PC gamers. And I mean, like, if all you played was League and Valorant, the Game Pass sub is worth it right there.
Yeah.
Like, with all the stuff that you get.
Right.
But beyond that, they're trying to appeal to mobile gamers also. We know they were trying to grow the mobile side. That was part of the motivation in buying Activision Blizzard King.
Yeah. Was
to get King. They got 2 mobile studios with Bethesda. They are clearly trying to push the mobile agenda. And hey, cool. You know, you're about to have Hearthstone and in-house. You're about to have both of those in-house. Cloud gaming is going great on mobile. Like, why wouldn't you want to partner with one of the biggest studios in the world right now? That's huge.
Right.
You're getting to a point where you have very strong partnerships with both EA and Riot. You own Bethesda and ZeniMax. You're going to own Activision Blizzard King. At what point do you stop making deals, like wheeling and dealing? Like, if even somebody like Riot sees the point in teaming up with you, because I mean, like a couple weeks ago, we knew that Ubisoft was going to have Ubisoft Essentials as part of PS Plus Platinum.
Yeah.
Right. And it's like, well, you know, I thought we were going to see Ubisoft there today.
Yeah.
I thought for sure they're going to be like, oh, yeah, Ubisoft Plus, like the basic tier is going to be a part of Game Pass now.
Yeah.
And instead, because we know they said, hey, we've got more games in our partnership coming this year. Assassin's Creed Origins and For Honor are only the beginning.
Right.
And then, oh, Riot's here.
Yeah,
but okay.
That to me could be a Gamescom, something they're saving for Gamescom though, because
they probably will.
Ubisoft is a European studio, right, or company. So
it also may be a case of, like, again, trying to get out of the way of like previously existing marketing deals that have been announced.
Right.
I think it would look really bad if they came out and were able to announce Assassin's Creed Valhalla coming to Game Pass tomorrow, the same day it's hitting PlayStation Plus.
Yeah, that would be
That'd be a problem. The services already have enough similar third-party games.
Yeah. Origins, by the way, with that 60 frames patch, I downloaded it just to mess around with it.
I have never played Origins. I mistakenly bought the DLC years ago for it, though.
Pretty interesting. Plays a lot better than it did when I played it. So
I'll definitely hit that up.
Yeah.
But yeah, like a Riot, that's a big deal.
Yeah.
That's a big deal as far as I'm concerned. It may not, and I know like console players are probably like rolling their eyes, but man, there are a lot of people in PC land very happy about that today.
Yeah. The only reason why I could see Valorant skipping Xbox this year is because Overwatch 2 is going into that early access beta. And since it's kind of almost their game now, I don't think they want to step on any toes.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, like we might as well just go into that. The other partnership that we saw a lot of today was Blizzard.
Yeah.
With Overwatch 2 going free to play.
Yeah. I wonder if the multiplayer. I wonder if the multiplayer is free to play, and then if you want that weird campaign thing, they'll just charge for that or something.
I absolutely think that that's what's happening.
Plus, like their loot boxes and cosmetics and all that garbage.
Yeah, I think that's probably the safest bet for what's happening. So cool. It's more Overwatch. We got a new hero revealed. Yeah. Cool.
Somebody put Borderlands in our Overwatch for some reason. That whole character reveal was like I thought they were showing off a new Borderlands expansion because I looked down for like 5 seconds. It was
wild. We were literally we're like, at what point did this turn into Borderlands?
Yeah. I looked down for 5 seconds because my daughter was like playing with Play-Doh in front of me while I was taking notes, and she like needed help doing something. So I looked down and I looked back up. I'm like, I literally rewound the stream because I was like, is there new Borderlands something coming out? But yeah.
Yeah. I loved that we got a lot of Diablo though.
Oh yeah.
This game looks awesome.
Yeah. I was like, I'm not even a huge Diablo person. I'm like, man, this looks really cool, and I really want to play this. I thought the Necromancer was cool. Like, I love seeing Rod Ferguson back on stage, which is
it feels right.
I know it feels weird with him not talking about Gears, but he is talking about something gory and bloody and creepy. So
it looked really good. Beta signups for this game went live last night, by the way. So. I'd encourage anybody who is remotely interested in Diablo, go register for the beta. They did have to confirm afterwards, I believe, in the press release that Diablo 4 is still coming to last-gen consoles.
Mm-hmm.
Because when the beta signups went up, it was only for Series X, PS5, and PC.
Mm-hmm.
And for about 12 hours, the internet lost their minds.
Yeah.
I think that this will probably be a situation where the base game comes out, but if you want to play any expansions, you better upgrade.
Yeah.
Similar to how Diablo 3 was.
Mm-hmm.
It released on the 360, and then expansions, I think, were only Xbox One.
Yeah.
Man, is it wild to you to think that depending on when this comes out, this may be a day one Game Pass game?
I know. That's so cool.
Is that just like not the most wild thing to think about?
It's so cool though. I know Blizzard is kind of having their issues in the last year or so, but
they're having a lot. They're having a lot, and like that, I'm glad that you brought that up because just because you show off an awesome game does not clear you of any misconduct or any issues that are going on in your house.
Yeah, but I mean, I really hope that by the time Xbox acquires them and they're done cleaning house and we can finally just look at Blizzard's games and be like, oh, cool, Diablo's on Game Pass without having to be like, oh, well, should we do this? Because they're the person X of the Blizzard team, sexually assaulted someone or,
Yeah.
Which, by the way, I think I'm refusing to watch the Browns until that whole situation is resolved too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of boycotting things.
I think overall this looks really good. I'm glad that they even started addressing the endgame. I think they said something like 50 dungeons if I heard it correctly. This just again.
I think they said 150 dungeons.
150. Okay, I was too busy freaking out.
Yeah.
This looks great.
Yeah.
I Couch co-op is a thing on this again.
Yeah.
They announced the Necromancer. When they did the Necromancer announcement, we were like, oh, is that it? Okay, cool. Like, oh, Rod's here to just talk about like that a little bit. Okay, that's fine. Like, this will probably be at the extended showcase. And then they gave us another like 5 minutes of Diablo.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really interested. Fully open world, too.
Yeah, fully open world.
The local events,
character customization looks cool.
Yeah, the local events, which are kind of like Destiny's public events, looks cool.
Yep. They have PvP zones.
Yeah.
You were correct. Almost 150 detailed dungeons. Close quarters experiences for you to root out evil in throughout the main quest line and beyond. Local events are quick story events that will appear throughout Sanctuary, allowing for solo conquest or teamwork with fellow players to earn rewards and glory. And for daring heroes and craving an especially hard challenge, there will be the world bosses, massive demons that will spawn throughout the world and require teamwork from many players to take them down. Mm-hmm. This feels like it's going to be borderline MMO.
Yeah. Yeah. It seems more like the Destiny route where there's going to be people in your instance, right?
Mm-hmm.
Maybe not everyone, but definitely people.
And it's worth noting also that in the official Blizzard press release on this, I'm reading off the Xbox one right now, but in the Blizzard press release, this is fully cross-play and cross-progression for your Battle.net account.
Which is awesome.
So I know that they said it for Xbox and PC, but I do want to confirm that does include PlayStation as well. They obviously aren't going to be like, and for PS5, like, why would you?
Yeah. I know that.
But, yeah.
I think it's the same way for Overwatch too, as well.
Yes, I believe so.
Which we know, and I know we're talking about Xbox here, but I know Boss Rush has a huge Nintendo audience here. Overwatch 2 has been confirmed for Switch. Did Diablo 4 get confirmed for Switch as well, or is they still?
Diablo 4 is, as far as I know, Diablo 4 is not coming to Switch.
Yeah. Okay.
At all.
Okay. Yeah, I was just wondering because Diablo 3 did pretty well on that platform.
I mean, also, I think something you have to take into consideration with Diablo 3 is that was a game that was built on like 2011 hardware.
Yeah, that's fair.
So, and that was meant to run on the 360 and PS3. Diablo 4, on the other hand, oh man, base PS4s get clearance for takeoff, man. I did see Jez said something pretty funny this afternoon, and he was like, the second that Diablo 4 goes to cloud, like is on Game Pass, people are never going to play Diablo Immortal ever again. They're just going to play this with a backbone.
Yeah.
And I agree. I was like, yep, I see myself playing this with portably a lot.
Yeah. Backbone.
So
I got one, by the way. Totally worth it.
I love it.
I love it. Totally worth it.
Corey, before we get out of here though, we had a bunch of indies and third parties, and like without going into absolutely everything, you want to just like hit some bullet points.
Like I mean,
highlights
I think,
from each of us.
I mean, the big one I think that we should probably hit on is Silksong, coming day and date to Game Pass.
I could not believe that was the second trailer. There were whispers starting Friday night that this was going to be day one Game Pass, and I was like, nope, I'm not getting burned again. The Silksong director had kind of been teasing something last week. We all thought it would be Summer Game Fest. It wasn't there, and so everyone's like, oh, it's going to be a Nintendo Direct soon then. Mm-hmm. Lo and behold, it's the second game shown at Xbox right after Redfall.
Yeah. Yeah. Definitely looks like Hollow Knight sequel. Like, I didn't play a lot of Hollow Knight. I know a lot of people love it.
I love Hollow Knight.
I love it. I know people are really looking forward to Silksong.
I think my biggest question with this is... what is going on with the exclusivity around it? Because last I heard, a couple years ago when it was announced, it was going to come to Switch first before anything else.
Yeah, which means...
So, my question is, do the Switch get it for like a month now, maybe, and then it's on Game Pass?
Unless it comes out on Switch this fall, and then it comes out in March for Xbox or something.
Yeah, so we do know that... it's interesting because... they said everything shown is coming out within 12 months, but Silksong is not on the graphic for 2022 or 2023.
Yeah, well, they showed it before they made that announcement. They said everything from here on out.
But after Redfall, though, and after the Riot stuff, which was all confirmed to be within the next 12 months also. So
yeah.
I feel like it's just kind of weird to like put an asterisk next to your biggest indie game.
Yeah.
But, I mean... Team Cherry, take all the time you need. We'll wait. It's
Yeah.
okay.
You know what I was surprised
I do feel that this will be. I think this is going to be one of those like they went to them and said, "Hey, we have an offer we cannot refuse. They're going to give us Game Pass money
I
to
wonder.
put this on console and PC. So we need this exclusivity contract to be as tiny as humanly possible."
Or I wonder if Microsoft could have even paid for them to terminate the contract, the exclusivity contract.
I just like the legalities of that. I don't think they would have done that.
Yeah.
Because then I think that hurts Team Cherry's standing in the industry if that happens. I do think this is probably a case of it's an exclusive for 3 months and then it's moving on.
Yeah.
The end.
Yeah. Which is pretty.
Hollow Knight was always going to make money on every platform. That's the thing.
Yeah.
Like.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess the other two things that I was excited for was Wolong Fallen Destiny looked kind of like a Neo-esque style game.
Well, and it's funny that you say that because it's from Team Ninja.
Yeah.
It's the producer of Neo and a producer of Bloodborne.
Mm-hmm.
So that is going to be an instant sell for a lot of people.
Mm-hmm.
This is a multi-platform game.
Yes.
I was waiting to see the confirmation. I literally just now the press release is showing up here on my Twitter feed. It will be on PS5, PS4, all the Xboxes, Windows, and Steam. Mm-hmm. So,
but
cool.
Game Pass
but that's still a big win for Day One Game Pass.
Yeah. Looks cool. I think
Microsoft has a good history with Team Ninja. Very exciting.
Neo is always a game that I wanted to try, but I never did because I got rid of my PlayStation 4 to get a Series X and haven't gotten a PlayStation since. And so this might fill that gap if I don't find a PlayStation by then.
Yeah.
But the other game I thought looked pretty interesting was Ereban Shadow Legacy. It was like this kind of colorful stealth ninja game. Looked pretty interesting. Probably try that out.
It's from Raw Fury. Raw Fury typically publishes games that I'm interested in.
Yep. So that was kind of the other one.
Yeah, interested in that. I'm glad you brought up those three because I think my three are completely different.
Yeah.
I want to highlight High on Life.
Oh God.
Which is the game from Squash Games, Justin Roliad, and oh God, I forget his name. Jesus, I really can't believe I'm forgetting his name. It's right on the tip of my tongue. God, I hate myself. I have to Google it now. The co-creator of Rick and Morty. Dan Harmon. Oh my God, God. Dan Harmon. I love Community. You think I would remember this?
All the guns talk.
All the guns talk. I was the only in my chat. I was like, man, I'm excited for this, and they were like, are you really? You hate Rick and Morty. Ray was like, this looks like a Dollar General Sunset Overdrive. Why are you excited for this? And I was like, I think it's just weird enough. It feels like Sunset Overdrive and like the vibe of Oddworld kind of had a baby.
Yeah. Yeah, I got Stranger's Wrath vibes from the way the guns looked.
I will absolutely. This is a Day One Game Pass game in October. I am playing this. If I don't like it, okay, I delete it and move on. That's how I see it. Like, but I will play this. I think as far as like bigger games go that they have timed exclusivity on, this is one of the bigger ones out of this showcase, I think.
Right.
It's certainly more appealing to me than something like Scorn.
Are you sure? God,
yes.
Scorn looks so gross, dude.
Scorn looks dumb.
Dude, when they opened up with that umbilical cord kind of thing.
Yeah, we were like, what the hell is this? I would say maybe one of my highlights of the entire show was Cocoon, which is from the design director of Limbo and Inside.
Yeah.
Inside is one of my favorite games ever made. It was one of my games of the generation last gen.
This is the guy that left, right? This is the guy that left to form his own
This is
studio.
one of the guys that left because the other guys who left went off to go make Somerville, which is supposed to come out this year.
Right. Right.
Then, meanwhile, Playdead still has not released a new game since 2015. I like all of the. I like all this. This felt like a very Josh game when I was watching it.
Yeah.
Um,
The
easily.
little ball warping kind of mechanic looked really cool. Like, like you get sucked
Yeah,
into that
I
ball and
don't
you get
expect
warped.
this to be an ultra long game. I mean, Limbo and Inside were both games you could beat in a couple hours.
Yeah.
In like one sitting. I think there was even an achievement for doing it in one sitting.
Yeah.
So excited to see how this one goes. And then the last case of Benedict Fox. This looked really rad. This was like a reality warping Metroidvania style game with horror thrown into it.
Yeah.
I look very forward to playing that. I think that's going to be really cool. Again, another day one Game Pass game. And the last one I would highlight is Ravenlock.
Yeah, I was going to bring up Ravenlock too. That game looked really
Ravenlock,
cool.
if you did not play Echo Generation, I believe it's still on Game Pass. Go try it, Echo Generation. It's very like Stranger Things-esque.
Mm-hmm.
It got announced back in 2020. It came out last summer. I'm shocked that they have another game already. Yeah. That's a fairly small studio from what I understand. This looks much more ambitious than Echo Generation did.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like I was talking about on or during the stream with my friends. This is going to live and die by the combat.
Yeah.
The combat system is going to completely dictate how good this game is.
Yep.
But it looks at the very least intriguing to me.
Mm-hmm. Very Alice in Wonderland-esque.
It has two things going for it. It looks, I like the style of it. It really reminds me of the movie Coraline.
Mm-hmm.
And number two, it is not Flintlock.
Yeah.
Flintlock looks awful. That game looks terrible. Looks absolutely terrible.
Yeah.
Corey, do we have anything else before we start wrapping up? Because I think that's about it, man.
I mean, I don't have anything else to say. There's a couple things I'm surprised we didn't see.
We did miss one game though. I do want to make a note of it because it is a first party title. Aura History Untold. It's a PC game that is coming out, and when I saw it, I immediately thought it was like Age of Mythology redone. Mm-hmm. It is instead like it. This is the rumored Project Oxide game we had heard. This is from Oxide Studios. It is a PC only game as of right now. Will probably come to consoles later next year or in 2024. But it looks to be Microsoft's in-house answer to Civilization.
Yeah, looks really interesting and cool.
It looks interesting and cool. I probably won't play this just because I don't have a PC.
Yeah.
But hey, my friends who have PCs were like, hey, I'm here for this. Like a lot of them like Civilization and like RTS and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, I'm here for that. I'm sitting here looking at this release calendar of what's coming the rest of the year, this year and next year, and I'm excited.
Mm-hmm.
I'm excited when I look at some of these. Like there were several games from last year that we didn't see this year for various reasons.
Yeah.
That are still scheduled to come. Plague Tale Requiem is coming. Valheim has been confirmed to be coming to Game Pass. I must have missed that at some point. That wasn't shown during the show. I really can't believe they didn't show that.
Yeah.
Warhammer Darktide is coming. There's an expansion for Fallout 76. ESO obviously is getting something. Naraka Blade Point. That's just like a meme at this point, I think.
Yeah.
Somerville. Gunfire Reborn. People who have played that apparently swear that it's good. So, okay. Maybe this will be like Killer Queen Black was for me. Like, I don't know what this is. And then when I played it, like, oh, this is actually really cool. Party Animals is still slated for this year. Slime Rancher is still slated. And, I mean, next year, you get Aiden Chronicle. They're listing Stalker and Replaced for the first half of next year. I don't necessarily believe that, nor do I want them to rush to get those out.
Right.
Because
they're both Russian studios, right? I mean,
so Stalker is a Ukrainian studio. GSC Game World makes that, and then Replaced is made by Sad Cat, which is in Belarus, which obviously has been drafted into the war thanks to Russia.
War-torn areas of the world that
all war-torn areas of Eastern Europe. Yeah.
As much as those games look cool, I would rather those humans, survive and not the.
Yeah, I mean, you look at this though, and there are, I don't know, there's something like 60 games here that they're planning for the next, if you take out the big third-party games that aren't Game Pass, I mean, you've probably still got like 40, 45 games listed here that are coming to Game Pass.
Right.
And that's before anything else that we know about. Like, these are just the things they decided to announce here or at last year's showcase.
Right.
So I don't know how I get how you can watch this and have been disappointed if you were just here for the bangers and we need to see the future of Xbox and this and that. There was no freaking way Microsoft could come out and announce anything for fall 2023 or beyond at this point.
I'm really happy they came out and said these are all games you're going to see in the next 12 months.
Yep.
Very happy because like that's been kind of my one big thing is like we don't have a timeline for Xbox. Like what are we going to play? You know, the only game that had a release date was Starfield, right? And so yeah, I just I'm happy.
They went from having not a whole lot next year to if this year is a barren desert for exclusives, next year is going to be like the Garden of Eden.
Yeah, but I mean, even if you are an Xbox player this year, like you still have Gotham Knights, you still have Hogwarts Legacy, you still have Modern Warfare 2, right? You still have
you still have the
Callisto
big
Protocol,
AAAs.
You know, like
I would even say like you look at a lot of these Game Pass games and you're getting these games day one. Like Plague Tale is, it may not be like, oh my god, this is one of the biggest games of the year. It will probably be one of the best reviewed games of the year, though, if the first one is any indication.
Right.
You're going to get some kick-ass indies in Somerville, in Slime Rancher is something that a lot of people are excited for. I'm excited for High on Life. Scorn is something people have been following. Atomic Heart. Persona 5 Royale is coming.
Right.
Like, and then you still have a couple of smaller games from Xbox along with expansions for every one of their big games.
Plus you have campaign co-op for Halo coming. You have Forza Horizon. Yeah.
They're the rumored Halo Battle Royale. I don't think that makes it out this year. It wasn't there today, so I don't think that that's this year anymore.
Yeah.
Which is fine. They've got so much stuff. I could see that being it's out now at next year's summer conference.
Yeah.
Or at like a spring show or something.
Yeah.
I mean, and then even looking into next year, like if you realistically, Redfall, Starfield, Forza, Minecraft, Ara, and Stalker and Replaced make it out. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Add Cocoon into you add Cocoon and Benedict Fox in there, and man, I know that indies like aren't a system seller, but indies have really sustained the gaming industry for the last 3-4 years.
And it doesn't even it's like
a good game is a good game.
Yeah, and like even if you look at this Game Pass lineup too, it's like, man, this I can't believe that I'm only paying $15 a month for this service.
That's the other thing. They're not done adding to Game Pass for the year.
Oh yeah.
Like we said kind of at the top of the show, we think a lot of third parties are, especially Warner Brothers, has got to be afraid of doing them like they did for Back 4 Blood. Take the Outriders approach and announce it like 2 weeks out. That was something I was kind of wondering if it was going to show up today was Outriders.
Oh, World Slayer, the DLC.
I mean, hey, they dropped new Game Pass games on Tuesday. It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
They announced what's coming out the rest of the month. It's entirely possible.
Yeah.
But I mean, if you have some surprises, we talked that we think Saints Row. I almost said Starfield. Midnight Suns.
What a prediction there, Matt.
Yeah, what a prediction.
Josh.
Starfield coming day one to Game Pass. I literally was like, can they stop telling us that the Xbox exclusives are coming day one to Game Pass? I think we all know now. That's why they had the extra 5 minutes. They needed all the title cards at the end to say coming day one to Game Pass.
Right.
I think there's still plenty of things to come. I've been speculating for a while that I feel that as we get closer to fall, they're going to announce some of the bigger games from the end of last year and this year, the beginning of this year, such as Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, Dying Light 2. Maybe they forked out a ton of money to get Elden Ring onto the service.
Yeah.
That there will be games. Like, could you imagine, like, Elden Ring starts its Game of the Year campaign, and, oh, hey, for those of you who didn't get to play it, it's on PC and Xbox Game Pass now. Still only $14.99.
Tiny Tina's Wonderlands, I think, might be a shoe-in for Game Pass. That's like the one that I'm interested, but not interested enough to pay $60 or $70 for it, which sounds bad, but like, I mean, that's what Game Pass is for. And I can't afford to buy every $70 game that comes out. So,
no. And, that's something that, Austin and I were talking about earlier, that this is the best. It is still the best value in gaming.
Mm-hmm.
If you're looking for like the exclusive AAAs, kind of like the Kotaku article said a couple weeks ago, like there's no shame in canceling right now.
Yeah.
If you are only here for the Xbox exclusive, basically if Xbox is not your main platform, there's no shame in canceling your Game Pass.
Yeah.
But I think that you will save a ton of money by playing these indies that are appealing. Like almost every game that we saw today is at the very least, if it's not coming to Game Pass, it's a day one console exclusive.
Yeah.
So like I think the only indie that has the distinction of being the other way around, it's on Game Pass, but it probably will not come to Xbox first, is Silksong.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So like if you figure that like the average indie game is $15 to $20, I don't see how you look at this and go, well, if there's a couple that I want to play on here and like, oh, I'm interested in Starfield and like I kind of have a passing interest in some other things. I don't know how you don't just sit down and say, well, I'm going to at least pay for a month to play Starfield.
I mean, don't forget, like, I mean, this is a me thing, but like Ninja Turtles comes out on Friday. It's coming day one to Game Pass, and that's $25.
Yeah, Shredder's Revenge, man. I can't believe that was not part of the graphic. Shredder's Revenge.
But it was part of Summer Game Fest, so
I mean that didn't stop them last year though. Anna Crucis got revealed there, and then was at Microsoft show too.
That's fair. But I mean like right there, like you pay $10 for Game Pass instead of $25 for Shredder's Revenge. That's, you know what I mean? Like that's one.
It just continues to be the best value in gaming to me. You're getting a lot of the expansions, like Fallout 76's Expedition, I believe, is free.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean that's labeled as Game Pass, whereas Elder Scrolls Online's High Isle is not.
Yeah.
So I would assume that is included with it. I think they know they can't charge for anything with 76.
Yeah.
It's just, and I mean, I don't know. I think there is enough. I think there's more than enough value there this year if you like a variety of games. If you are just here for third party, or just for AAA bangers, you have a right to be frustrated. You have an absolute. I will never tell anybody you do not have a right to be frustrated. You are entitled to your own opinion. For somebody who primarily plays in the Xbox ecosystem, I guess, and like my Switch and my PlayStation exist to be exclusives machines.
Mm-hmm. Same.
I'm excited. This graphic can't even take into account that Deathloop and Ghostwire are coming.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 2 more games
being
added in. Ghostwire I know didn't review the greatest, but I've had people say it's a Game of the Year contender, and others be like, it would be a fun Game Pass play.
Yeah.
And but I mean, Deathloop was Game of the Year.
Yeah.
So I played it on PS5. I will play it again on Xbox.
Yeah. Yeah.
I hope there's an expansion that's going to come out.
To me, looking at this infographic, the 2022 and 2023 games like that are coming, whether it's Game Pass or not, is just like this is a good 12 months to be excited for Xbox. So,
yeah, I think that this is a great time to be excited. And like while we're talking about all this, we did get a comment earlier. I don't want to read this because I think it's really prevalent to what we're talking about right now in terms of value.
Yeah.
At Mike Fowler 93 wrote in and says, I felt the show was okay. I felt it showed some assurance for owners that there's a roadmap, yet at the same time did not make me want to join the Xbox ecosystem. The few games I'm excited for were multi-plat, and I'll just wait for the PlayStation release of them. There is nothing wrong with that. No. I totally understand it. That's how I felt watching the State of Play a couple weeks ago.
Yeah, I mean, that's exactly how I felt.
Everything outside of Final Fantasy 16, it was like, it's coming. It's going to come to Xbox.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. I mean,
I'll play Resident Evil 4, and if I want to play Street Fighter, I'll play it on Xbox. Like, I'm not a fighting game fan, but RE4, 100% playing on Xbox. 100%.
Yeah. I'm right there with you. I think the State of Play, the game that stood out to me the most was Final Fantasy 16. I'm like, well, 2023, I'll get a PlayStation then to play that, and by then Horizon and God of War will be cheaper, and the Uncharted collection will be cheaper, and I'll just play all those games then, I mean, they might even be part of PS Platinum by then. We don't know. Yeah.
But I think that when you look at this, I think Mike kind of hit it on the head here. This is a good roadmap for those in the ecosystem already to see.
Yeah.
But something that I kind of expected to see that we didn't get an announcement for, and I do wonder if it's going to come later on this week when Fall Guys launches on the 16th, is are they going to deepen their relationship with Epic also when it comes to cloud offerings? Mm-hmm. Are Rocket League and Fall Guys going to join that also? Imagine being able to boot up your Samsung TV because we do Samsung on on June 30th is going to get the Game Center and Nvidia GeForce and Stadia and
I saw
Game
a
Pass
Stadia
are all gonna
commercial
be a
this
part
week.
of
Did
it.
I tell you?
I saw it too.
I was watching a random YouTube video and it was a Stadia commercial. I'm like, I tweeted out, I'm like, I just saw a Stadia commercial. That's the tweet. And like everybody was like, what year is it?
Yeah. I just like I think you look at some of these and you go, okay, if you're already in the ecosystem, this is going to be I think this is going to be a great 12 months for you.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to continue to get value. It's basically saying, hey, if you have Game Pass, you're going to continue to get great value. And this is just what we can tell you about now. We can't tell you about the third party or the AAA games that'll come later on this year and early next year. We can't tell you about the games that have already come out this year that are going to come. Like, we don't want to tank those sales and stuff. There's nothing wrong with being disappointed, though. Like, if Bethesda is not your jam, this probably was not the show for you for AAAs.
Right.
If you were not interested in Redfall and Starfield, there was nothing here that was going to convince you to join this system.
Mm-mm.
And that's okay.
That's fine.
That is okay.
I mean,
play what you want to. I've always been an advocate. Vote with your wallet. Like, I watch Nintendo Directs with my friends, and they go nuts over like every game, and I'm just like, that Killer Direct that we had back in, what was it, February or March, where they announced like 10 games.
Mm-hmm.
I came out of that going, there was one thing that I want to play, and it's Splatoon
3. See that?
I don't give a rat's hairy ass about anything else that I saw there.
Yeah, well, I mean, like that's like this week. Everybody is excited over that Mario soccer game that came out, and I'm like, cool.
Yeah,
I'm glad everybody who bought it is enjoying it. It's not for me, you know.
Yeah,
and
it's
this
not
is
for me.
This is coming from someone who runs a Nintendo podcast, right? Like,
you can be, and here's the thing, like, you can be, you know, not enthusiastic about something without being a jerk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen so many comments today just being like, oh, this was a snooze fest. I can't believe anybody liked any of these games. And it's like, can you just take your bad vibes somewhere else? Like,
right.
Man, I always say, like, if I critique something like a direct that I didn't enjoy fully, if I come out of a direct going, man, there were 2 or 3 games I really liked there, that's a win for me.
Mm-hmm.
When I was talking with Austin, I says, if you come out of a big, major hour-plus long show, and you go, there were 5 or 6 games that really caught my eye that I want to that I would pay money for, and then realizing they're all in Game Pass, I says, I don't know how that's anything other than a win.
Right.
Like, you will never realistically like every single game at a conference. And if you say you liked every single game at a conference, you're lying.
Right.
You are flat out lying. For every indie that captivates me like Cocoon or Replaced, there's a Scorn or an Atomic Heart.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? There's a Slime Rancher that I don't care about. But I know that, like, Slime Rancher is something that a lot of my friends are like, I want to play Slime Rancher. And I'm like, the hell is Slime Rancher? I'm gonna sit over here with my little narrative-driven game that nobody else is getting hyped up for. Y'all go have fun with that, and then we'll all meet up and beat up each other as stuffed animals and party animals tonight. Like, I don't know, man. Like, I guess kind of just closing thoughts. I still think that this was a solid show.
Yeah.
Going back through it, I'm still as convinced as I was. Obviously, a couple of these games, like, I do think if Wolong would have been an exclusive, I probably would have given this, and that probably would have been enough to nudge it to A- for me.
Mm-hmm.
But day one Game Pass, I mean, I'll still take it.
Yeah.
I'll still take it, because now I don't have to pay money to try something that I probably will not like.
Yeah.
Just because of my play style of games, I know I'm going to get frustrated with it.
Yeah. For me, I guess, like, going in, I was really excited to see what Redfall was. I think I would say I'm a little less excited for Redfall and a little bit more excited than I was for Starfield. This coming from someone who doesn't play a lot of Bethesda games, I'm a little bit more excited for Starfield than I have been in previous titles. I want to see more of Redfall. I thought Redfall, which I should have just known because it's Arcane, but I thought it was going to be a third-person game. Because of some of the assets that leaked late last year, they were shown in third person. I wonder if it's one of those that you can flop between. But
I would imagine that it is. They showed a lot of third party stuff though.
Third person.
I feel like there was some third person. I feel like there were some third person shots, but maybe I'm just thinking of like other characters activating their abilities.
Maybe. I don't know. I want to see more. I hope it's not as horror driven, because that demo was super horror driven, and I don't care for horror games like really a lot.
I still think it's going to be pretty goofy.
Yeah, that's what I want. Goofy. You know, I mean, okay, it revolves around vampires and blood and stuff. Obviously, it's going to be sort of somewhat up that alley, but like, you know, I did like the joke that said that these aren't your like fantasy vampires or whatever. That was pretty good. So there's jokes in there.
Yeah.
But
yeah. I mean, I just think this was really solid overall. And I think I know that we did it at the very beginning. We rated the conference. I think it's almost a little silly to give a review score to a conference when we haven't played the games yet. I think retroactively, if the games are good, I'm sorry, I had the burp there. I think that makes it better in the long run because, you know, look at this. Say Starfield comes out and is an immediate Game of the Year contender. If it just sticks the landing, which feels like almost a Herculean feat at this point. Like, it's been built up so much, I can't help but feel that people are going to compare this to Cyberpunk no matter how good it is.
Right.
And say that it lands and it comes down to like that and Breath of the Wild or something for Game of the Year. That's a win for Microsoft. Even if they don't win those Game of the Year awards, like, that's a win. If this game comes out and has like a 90 on Metacritic, that's a win for them.
Yep.
That justifies this purchase in their eyes. And like, hey, every other studio we got, that's a bonus. Redfall is a bonus.
Right.
Wolfenstein, Doom, Quake, whenever they may come, those are bonus. Indiana Jones. We heard this week Indiana Jones may be multi-plat.
Yeah.
And if it is, guess what? Who cares? They don't care because they still get to trot out there and go, yeah, it's multi-plat, but they won Game Pass.
Yeah. I mean, I wonder if that...
They get to just... Aaron Greenberg's just going to be holding up that sign in the background.
Who leaked that? Just Gordon leaked that, right? At some point? He's the one that talked about it?
So he said that the last he had heard, which was last year, that it did not sound like it was exclusive, but he couldn't nail it down for sure. And I mean, even when the Bethesda purchase happened, and when we saw the teaser for that, you and I, we were still doing Arsenal X at the time. We both said, I would be shocked if this was an exclusive.
Yeah. Yeah. I
mean, unless Microsoft paid extra during the purchase to send to Lucasfilm.
Right. I mean, like, based off the Disney licensing and they hadn't fully purchased Bethesda yet, and, you know, all that, it would shock me if plus with Microsoft saying they're going to hold true to all current agreements or whatever when they purchase them, like, I don't care if it's multi-plat or not. Like, I that's a game that if I play it on Game Pass and it's good enough, I will probably purchase it outright because you know me and Indiana Jones.
Oh yeah, no, see, that's how I am with Starfield. Like, I was talking to our friend Nerd, and he was like, you know, the best part is this game's going to be on Game Pass. I was like, man, I'll probably buy a collector's edition of this game just because I historically love Bethesda games. What if
they did remember that Ubisoft game that came out, that spaceship one, where they sold all the ship parts and you could build your own ship?
Dude! So I specifically bought the Switch version of that just to get the R-Wing, and to be able to play as Fox. It's the best Star Fox game we've gotten in 20 years, by the way.
I know. So good.
Well, if they had a replica of the ship or of the robot, I would rush to.
I bet it comes with a robot. I doubt the ship would make it. I bet it comes with a robot.
Yeah, I mean, I always think back to the Skyrim Collector's Edition, and it was Alduin sitting on one of the ward walls.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh my god. Like, I still remember buying the Collector's Edition of Oblivion. Yeah. It was only $10 more, but it came with this book.
Yeah.
It was a little beefy. It was like 100 pages or something, but it was like the Pocket Guide to the Empire or something, and it was like the perfect way to catch you up on Elder Scrolls if you had never played Morrowind.
Yeah.
Because they knew this was most players' first time ever experiencing an Elder Scrolls.
Yeah.
And I have a feeling that Starfield's going to be the same way. The next great step is here for, you know, Bethesda. Nobody makes an RPG the way that Bethesda does. I feel like their games feel very distinct.
Yeah.
And yet completely accessible. Even if, like, it may look overwhelming. Like, Chelsea was watching a gameplay with me before she went to work tonight. And she's like, oh, this looks like it's going to be a little overwhelming. And I was like, well, not really. Like, this is still way easier to understand than something like Cyberpunk, I think. It's not going to hold your hand as much as, like, Skyrim did.
Right.
But that's good. Like, Skyrim, I'm glad was so accessible. This is a new franchise. Like, let's see what people think. Like, I'm excited to see the DLC support they do for it. This is going to be a cool universe to play around in. I can't wait, man. It's going to be a great 12 months.
Yeah. No, I agree. Well, I guess we can get out of here.
I think that does it, man. We're gonna start talking in circles.
Yeah. I want to.
We've now gone basically as long as the show did. So
yeah, I mean, well, we like to talk. It's fine.
We do like to talk.
I want to thank everybody for listening to this Boss Rush podcast extra. If you enjoyed it, let us know. Hopefully, we'll do a lot more of these in the future. If you listen to the Boss Rush podcast, please leave us a 5-star rating or review on iTunes or Spotify. You can follow us on Twitter at Boss Rush Podcast. Josh, thank you for filling in tonight. Always appreciate your time.
Thank you for having me. It's been a while.
I know. Well, without talking about Destiny, it's been a while.
Yes. Talking about something other than Destiny or Bungie, it's been a little while.
Yeah. But, I always appreciate you and your knowledge and your words. Where can people find you?
Twitter, at Josh_Finn, 2 N's, and every Friday morning on your podcast feeds on Tower Casuals, the Destiny podcast.
Yes. You can find me at I'mCoreyHD on Twitter and Instagram. You can also find me on Nintendo Power Block, Standard Definition, and a plethora of other things here on the Boss Rush Network. Well, thank you everybody for watching and or listening, and until next time.